Award-winning host Steve-O. Listen to some of America's top names in politics and call in with your comments at 888-565-1470. And now, here's Steve-O.
Hey, good afternoon. Today's show, I know you're going like, where is Ask the Experts? But this is a political season, and we have got, listen, after watching the convention, which I really didn't watch very much, we got to win. I am telling you, we've got to win, and I am going to be dedicating a lot of our shows to politically right. We've gotten a call from the White House. They want to send as many people as they can to be on our show. And our guest tonight is been on our show with Steve-O and Renee many times. And I don't, because we're streaming right now, I don't know if she's on the line. Is the Lieutenant Governor on the phone? Do we have the Lieutenant Governor?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon.
Oh, Lieutenant Governor Nunes, how are you doing?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Good. I'm going to scare you because I had a dream last night. In 2000, it was the year 2024. I had this dream. Ron DeSantis is going to be the next president of the United States, and Lieutenant Governor Nunes is going to be the governor. Isn't that a strange dream?
Oh, my goodness. That is a strange dream.
I didn't mean to do that to you just to start off, but I thought I'd share that with you. How are you?
Doing well, doing well.
You know, there's so many topics that I want to get to, and I got to start off with tell me what's going on in Florida with cities. Do we have any cities that want to defund the police?
Well, thankfully in Florida, we've got a pretty good handle on all of that. Obviously, under Governor DeSantis' leadership, he has made it very clear that we will not be defunding the police, that we're going to support our men and women that are heroes each and every day, and we're going to address any issues that arise in a way that makes sense, but in a way that's respectful to our men and women in law enforcement. And so I think that that's right off the bat. We haven't seen the type of chaos that you see in Democrat-run cities in Portland and Chicago. And so law and order and safety in our communities are something that's really important to this governor. He campaigned on it, and he's going to make sure that we continue to do right by our men and women in law enforcement.
God, we seem so normal compared to the Portlands and the Seattles and the New York and the Chicago. I mean, you're right. We don't hear about that here in Florida.
Yeah, we sure don't, and we'd like to keep it that way.
Yes, please, please. Can you tell us what's going on with school openings? Are the kids going to be? Is it depend on the county?
Yeah, so right now we have about 25 of our counties that have opened up schools. And so what we've seen is the vast majority of them have had a tremendous amount of students back in the classroom. Of course, each county is offering virtual learning for those parents that have opted to keep their kids home for various reasons. There are some parents that have health complications or they live with elderly grandparents. And so that's what the governor has been really clear on. He wants to give parents options. He wants to give teachers options as well. But he also wants to make sure that we deliver our responsibility to provide a high-quality education to hundreds of thousands of students in each and every school district. And so what we're seeing is the vast majority of our school districts, almost 100% of our teachers are showing up in many districts. In some cases, 90+% parents sending their kids to school. And then, as you know, the three largest counties, Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach, the ones that have seen the vast majority of the cases, they are opening virtually August 31st. Miami-Dade is. They will provide in-school options for parents with children with special needs or certain disabilities. So that's something that was really important to the governor as well, to make sure that those students that didn't have options for really learning virtually, that they would be provided in classroom experience. And then they're going to reevaluate at the end of September to see if they can come back safely and in a way that's going to accommodate every student, every parent, every teacher.
Well, I sure know I've seen the numbers are starting to level off now, which is really great news.
Yeah, indeed. We've seen a steady decline in every metric that we've been monitoring. Our percent positivity continues to reduce each and every day, even in Miami-Dade County. We have been hovering around 10%. Today we were at 8.2%. So really good numbers, as well as our hospitalizations that continue to decline. And of course, this virus has impacted so many families in each corner of our great state. We know that there are a lot of individuals that have been suffering, both from the public health aspect and then obviously from the economy. But we're confident that under Governor DeSantis' leadership, we'll be able to get through this. And like I said, hopefully we will see in short order kids back in the classroom, taking the necessary precautions, of course, making sure they're doing their part. I've said throughout the entire pandemic, we all have a role to play. We all have a responsibility. And so let's just all make sure that we come together and do our part. And that way we can get back onto the track of prosperity that we were clearly on under this governor and under this president.
We're talking to Lieutenant Governor Nunes, who I think is one of the finest lieutenant governors. And I'm actually friends with the Lieutenant Governor of Texas. So it's a good thing he's not hearing this.
Well, we won't tell
But
him
no,
that.
I think you've done such a great job. Why do you think there was the spike in numbers?
You know, it's hard to say. I think what happened really was a number of things. You know, we've been dealing with this pandemic since March. I think people were really getting frustrated. You know, people were seeing their livelihoods in peril, their businesses shut down, and then a number of things happened. And I'm not pointing my finger at any one particular thing, but obviously the strain of having to be in a shutdown, of having to be at home, of not being able to be at work unless you were deemed an essential employee, which I think the governor has made the case that for an employee that works, that has to provide and has to put food on the table, no matter what industry you work in, that's essential to you. But I think what happened is people saw all the protests taking place. You know, media clearly wasn't calling them out, wasn't creating any sort of concern about the spread because of those protests. You know, it was the same time as Memorial Day, the same time as graduation season. And then really what you saw as we began to reopen the economy, you know, I believe it wasn't necessarily any one action. I believe what happened is that people just got fed up. And, you know, the governor has talked about this anecdotally. A lot of people have said, okay, well, the restaurants may not be at full capacity here in Miami. They're shut down for indoor dining. You know, maybe the bars are closed, but that's not going to curtail people going to people's homes and doing the things that we do. And I think Floridians in particular, we love to be out and about. It's been really hard and really challenging. And so what we saw was a peak, and the governor really focused on trying to make sure that people understood the necessary precautions to take. But I think all throughout this virus, he has shown tremendous leadership in really protecting the elderly. What we know about this virus, and every day you learn something new, right? So what we know about this virus is that the elderly are more at risk. That means that we got to take specific measures and target initiatives to protect those individuals, especially those that are in nursing homes and assisted living facilities.
So I'm sorry to skip around like this, but I know we don't have you very long. We might have a hurricane coming our way. Are we prepared? 'Cause I don't know if we've ever had a hurricane actually coming our way with a pandemic also.
Well, I will tell you that we are very prepared. That's the one thing that Floridians can rest assured. We had a trial run, I don't know if you recall, with Isaias. It was a threat for a short period of time. certainly we were able to skip the worst of it. And I think that just tested our procedures, our processes, and making sure that we have taken special precautions in this COVID era of how do you shelter? How do you get people that may have to evacuate and ensure that they're not going to be exposed in a large gymnasium or in a cafeteria at a school? And so we have plans in place. We have opportunities for people to shelter in hotels. We have a tremendous amount of PPE. Our Division of Emergency Management they've done a tremendous job in providing resources. And it's really been the largest effort from a statewide perspective dealing with COVID. And they are very prepared. And I think Floridians, again, to the standpoint of making sure everyone's doing their part, make sure you have your supplies, double check them now. Now is the time to make sure that you have the water necessary, the non-perishables, the batteries, all the things that we know you're going to need in the event you lose power. But we were ready. We had trucks stationed for power outages. We were ready, and I think that is one thing Florida has always shown. We can handle disasters, and this governor is going to make sure that we're prepared for any storm that comes our way.
That's good to know. Listen, I know you are so busy, but have you had any time to watch the convention at all?
A little bit. It's hard to stomach, but I have watched a little bit of it. I will probably try to watch a little bit of it tonight and see Biden put on full display his manifesto and his complete and total takeover by the radical left, by AOC and Bernie and all of those folks that really have become the radical fringe of his party that he has become a wholly owned subsidiary of. But I think as you start to listen to, if you try to listen to what their platform will be, because there's been a lot of lashing out of the president, but if you try to hone in on what their platform consists of, I think the average American, in particular Floridians, that are very astute as it relates to politics, will understand that a Biden-Harris ticket means more taxes, means less safety and security for our neighbors, putting our seniors at risk, by undoing all the work that this president has done of driving down the cost of prescription drugs, and quite frankly, from my perspective, cozying up to dictators and putting us on a path to socialism and communism that I can tell you from my family's point of view. I think I've told you before, my parents fled Cuba in 1961, and I want no part of it. And it scares me to see how much the parallels and the similarities are.
I got to tell you, I just last night when I was watching Obama, and all he did was talk about President Trump. He didn't even say what their platform was, but all he talked about is President Trump is lazy and he hasn't fulfilled. I mean, this is the hardest working president we've ever had. And what he has gotten accomplished, it's just, I mean, they have to be so embarrassed, Lieutenant Governor.
Well, it is. It's embarrassing because if all you have at your disposal is to lament a president that, to your point, not only has he worked hard, but he has delivered for the American people, there is no doubt that this president has authored the greatest chapter of American prosperity in our history. When you saw what happened before this pandemic artificially shut down our economy, lowest number of unemployment in the history of our country, median income, highest on record, home ownership on the rise. And I can tell you from the standpoint of, again, my family's perspective, nothing reverberates the American dream louder than when you're able to own your own home and own your own business. And that's what this president fights for each and every day. For those of us that are hardworking, for those of us that want opportunity and nothing else, and for those of us that are looking for a better future for our children. As a mom of three, I can tell you there is no question in my mind that this president has not only accomplished tremendous opportunities for me and for my family, but he also fights for things that are important to me: faith, religious freedom, education, and choice there in education, being able to choose what is the best education for your children. And really, I think that it's shameful that they all they do is focus on him. But I think they know that they have nothing to hang their hat on. So.
I agree with you. Lieutenant Governor, you are such a great guest. I appreciate you so much coming on. I've always loved when I've heard you're coming on our show. And hey, this is an important time. We've got to at least deliver Florida to the president, and I hope you will come back on our show again.
I sure will. It's always great to talk to you. Thank you, and have a blessed evening.
Thank you too. God bless. That was Lieutenant Governor Nunes. I got to tell you, I think her and Governor DeSantis have just done a great job. Just when you think they're uh, taking the foot off the neck, all of a sudden they come back. I mean, our numbers have started to flatten out again, and I am really happy with uh, both Governor DeSantis and Governor and Lieutenant Governor Nunes. Um, I got to tell you, I don't know if any of you have been watching the convention. It is just, it's a joke. First of all, it is so boring. I wanted to try to listen to Hillary and just see what she was going to say. She still hasn't gotten over losing to President Trump. You know, it's funny. She said last night she won by 3 million votes and still lost. Well, first of all, it doesn't matter how many if you got the most votes or not, because that's not how our elections work. And you know, if we just counted popular vote, just between California and New York and probably Chicago, Illinois, no one else's vote would count. So that really bothered me last night when she said that. And I got to tell you, they have found so many fraudulent votes. And last number I heard, it was well over 1 million votes. And who knows how many other fraudulent votes were out there. The other thing that really bothered me is they actually think that the president has something to do with these mailboxes. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. And I get calls all day long from listeners, friends of mine, and some of them are Democrats, and they're going, I can't believe what my party's doing. I mean, we're talking about mailboxes with everything that's going on. I guess what's going to be interesting is this Saturday, the Nancy Pelosi is coming back to town. That'll be interesting. They're going to be meeting again. And you know what? I don't really think they were ready because the Republicans have dug in. We're tired of giving these states some money that are poorly run, and then us, the taxpayers, have to flip the bill for them. It's not right. And from everything I've read in there, they talk more about marijuana than they do anything else. So, you know what? I think they should just piecemeal it. I think they should get money out to people this Saturday. People have gone without paychecks for a long time. The president has tried to do everything he can. But you know, when you've got a faction, when you've got a Congress that wants to do everything they can to make this president look bad. And when they do that, when they make this president look bad, guess who suffers from it? We do. Um, if you just at the beginning of the show, we're calling the segment Politically Right. And we're going to try to do at least 4 of these a month. The White House is, I mean, we already had Pam Bondi on, we've had Corey Lewandowski on. I know we're going to be getting Mike Pence on, the vice president. They're working on that. Eric Trump, Lara Trump. We're going to have some incredibly exciting political people on because when they go on national television, they only get a couple minutes and they really don't have time to get everything out. Well, that's not going to happen on our show because we're going to have a full hour and we are going to make sure they have plenty of time to speak. And I want you, the listening audience, to call in. Our next show is we're going to revert back to Ask the Experts. We have our expert attorney in estate planning will be joining us, Paul Labiner. But I want you to actually, if you can go to our Facebook, which is Ask the Experts, Steve-O host. Let us know if you like this new segment we're going to be doing. Sometimes it'll be 30 minutes, sometimes it'll be an hour. We're actually working on possibly getting another hour from 7 to 8 where we can do this. I got to tell you, I was very humble and very honored that the White House got such good feedback on our interviews and that they want to send us the kind of people they're talking to. Usually it works the other way around. We have to contact them. But they're contacting us, and I'm not going to complain about it. And they're just getting us some great names, and we're doing it for our listeners. And we hope you'll get more involved. And if you have any ideas for guests, please, please, please write us. Again, our Facebook is Ask the Experts, Steve-O host. Just write in the comments. We are going to go to break now, and when we come back, hopefully we'll have Attorney Paul Labiner on the phone with us. We'll be right back.